And the first matchup is New Zealand against Argentina, the Cup quarterfinal. And these two sides have played 62 times, and New Zealand 57, Argentina 5, and they last met in London of last year. Interesting to note, their first meeting was way back in 1999 in Stellenbosch, South Africa. And Argentina's last victory against New Zealand was way back in 2006. Well, here are the starting lineups, and plenty of experience in that New Zealand side with Forbes, Mickelson and Tharma. The man to watch, though, wearing jersey number 9 is Sherwin Stowers. What a season he has had on the ITM Cup in New Zealand, but also his time back in that New Zealand shirt. And as for Argentina, well, they've got Diego Palma's 23rd tournament, 55 tries, and they will be led by Nicholas Bruzzoni, their captain, who has amassed 251 points in his career. The marina here in Dubai, it is stunning. One of the most amazing sights that you will see. The backdrop to this magnificent ground here out in the desert. Joined alongside former international Scott Hastings. And Scott, there's a bit of a contest in the commentary box here. The first one to get the 2,000 followers, and I think I'm winning.
Well, I'm not particularly fussed about who has more followers on Twitter, but more interested in the action on this rugby pitch. And look at the city skyline there. It really is. I first came out here, Willie, in 1988. In those days we had sand pitches. I won with the competition with a team called the Huggy B Thistles, beating the Welsh Crauchetes in the final. And how I've seen this city grow, but how I've seen this tournament grow, and how would you love to run out onto that pitch. If you're a supporter watching at home, get it on your bucket list, folks, and come out here and support your international teams. It really is a wonderful atmosphere.
And Argentina, appearing on the left of your screen there with the peach alternative strip that they have got, and the All Black Sevens, men in black, in their traditional black strip. What a match this proves to be. Argentina were absolutely fantastic in their two matches yesterday against Samoa and Russia. New Zealand a clean sweep where they qualified first in Pool 8, and there is Nicholas Bruzzoni, captain of Argentina. So the two victories against Samoa and impressive against Russia were the Argentinian team to qualify second in Pool D. And there is Joe Webber. 3 good wins for them yesterday. Just the 1 try conceded, and also only the 1 tackle missed.
Yeah, New Zealand setting the standard here in Dubai, the Emirates Airlines Dubai Sevens, Willie, and really let's just sit back and watch the admiration of the skill. But Argentina will give the boys in black a hard time here, I'm sure.
Change of tactics from Argentina as they spot some space out to the right-hand flank, and Mohicanos judges it beautifully. And so a good start for the Argentinians. Alvarez, they're in shirt number 3. And speaking of Romero Mohicanos, a hat-trick yesterday against Russia for the young man. Tharma finds Curry, but it's not straight. And so an early mistake for the New Zealanders. Current run by New Zealand there. The last 10 games, best winning streak 47, of course, and 143 events, 177 tries for Argentina. And so New Zealand they have 281 events of experience on their side, and they've put together 616 tries. So the Argentinians now on attack inside the New Zealand 22. Darting down one side and then coming back is Alvarez, quickly cleared out by Muller. Options both left and right, and now they're looking to come back down the flank is Muller. Forbes intercepts as he does the captain's knock, and now New Zealand from their own 22 look to find some space. Look at the lovely feet of Webber, the step, the acceleration, and then the cross here, the cut with Curry. Scott Curry running behind Tomasi Tharma and then trying to link up with Bryce Heem. Back on the loop, and here's Sherwin Stowers with his first touch in the game. Good patience shown by New Zealand. one way, and then they get it back into the pocket and into the playmaker of Tomasi Thama. Weber, the stepper, accelerates and goes. Joe Weber, Thama is there. Now it's a foot race. He won't have the pace. Tomasi Thama pulls back, and very good defense there coming in from Diego Palma, who chased back. And now a turnover for Argentina. Here's Muller. The game being played at a frantic pace.
Well, Argentina are a man down because they've had an injury on the far side there. The player's back up, and don't know who it is, but they've done so well. But New Zealand turnover ball.
And here's the Mikkelsen out to Stowers, and here comes try number 1 for the New Zealanders. The turnover was good. Mikkelsen stole it, fed it out to Stowers, and Stowers did the rest.
Well, as I mentioned, Santiago Alvarez on the far side had been injured, so Argentina had to defend with 6 men literally from the off, but the steal by Mikkelsen and then Stowers. Well, every time this guy gets the ball, he puts his head down, and this time he had a clear run to the line.
Sherwin Stowers from the counties Manukau region, of course being coached now by former All Black captain Tana Rumanga. And a shield that has been played for in New Zealand competition of over 100 years, the Ranfurly Shield. They won it for the first time in their history this year. And Sherwin Stowers had a big part to play in that. Top point scorer for New Zealanders, Tomasi Thama, 1,925 points. Five 0. The Kiwis lead. Very warm conditions here in Dubai. Approaching 11 a.m. Tap back. Mikkelsen now just goes in and tries to hold him up to effect the turnover here. And it will be effective too. Mikkelsen's there, Heem and DJ Forbes just showing all the experience there of just wrapping up the Argentinian player.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping an eye on DJ Forbes. He might not have the fastest acceleration or running a bundle of tries, but boy does he get that, his mitts on the ball at so many times.
New Zealand. Stats incredible. 11 of the 14 seasons have been won by New Zealand. They haven't won in Dubai since 2009. It's just that consistency of making sure that on game day, payday, which is today, they perform. The clean-shaved face of DJ Forbes, if you were watching us yesterday. The tradition now, the beard grows until the business end. Thama goes in and tries to feed the ball out. Brazzoni is there, effective, but he couldn't control his own body weight, and so going straight to deck. Thama takes the quick tap and moves on. Now they push it back into the pocket. Curry is there. Weber, the playmaker, the step, the goose step, and then the acceleration. There goes Joe Weber, in for try number 2 for New Zealand.
Well, it's great to see this young kid back on the blocks, and look at this for a bit of footwork. It's absolutely superb, and I know many a New Zealander will be watching this, indeed many young players across the world, but when you see class like this, he does have magic feet, doesn't he? Look at this, individual skill. What I liked also about it was the ball is started in 2 hands, was transferred to 1 hand as he put the afterburners on. Superb individual skill from young Weber.
Well, former New Zealand under-20 world representative, twice member of the World Cup secondary schools team for Hamilton Boys High and the Japanese League, and his father actually played with Gordon Titchens in the Bay of Plenty. And so the history of the families is certainly there, and what a player Joe Weber has become. Up going high for Argentina is Chipasoni. Desperate to try and score before the break. That's the key, is to keep in touch with the New Zealanders. Tackle is made. Now the counter-ruck comes in from the New Zealanders, but still in possession. And through Muller. He's been good, has Axel Muller. The man that learnt the game at the Vista High School in Phoenix, Arizona. And now out to De La Fuente. Forbes brings him down in the help of Bryce Heem. Weber going in, trying to effect the turnover, but he hasn't released. Brazzoni taps and goes. Argentina desperate to try and score their first try in the match. Pushing it wide. Here's Mohicanos.
That's a yellow card, surely.
Could be a yellow card here. Big call coming up from Scott Hastings. Still in possession though, so the referee now looking to Palmer. They get it wide to Alvarez, who feeds it one more to Mohicanos, the man that got a hat-trick yesterday. Scores his fourth here. Good advantage from the referee.
Well, fantastic advantage now. It'll be interesting to see if the referee will consult with his touch judge, because it was still a deliberate knock-on in my book. But however, Argentina said at the head of the game that they would cause problems for this New Zealand team, and haven't they showed how brave they are by getting that try back?
It's the Kiwi double as well, Scott, because I've just passed 2,000 followers, so looks like you're buying lunch. And brilliant play from Argentina. Just what the doctor ordered. They needed to strike and stay in touch with New Zealand, and they've done it brilliantly through that young man, Mohicanos. And let's just have a look at this. What do you think at home? Mohicanos has the ball. Is this knocked on? Well, that could have been a yellow card. Well, deliberate knockdown.
It's a deliberate knockdown in my book. But the try was scored, so advantage was played. But Argentina certainly benefiting from some great play.
His 59th tournament, TJ Forbes, and what a captain he has been.
Yeah, a real inspirational leader. And just reading about this young man, DJ Forbes. I was going to say young man, DJ Forbes. He was just saying he's had the best little run of injury-free time on a rugby pitch, and we can see it over this last couple of days, just how much he's benefited from that.
Glorious conditions here at the HSBC 7 Series in Dubai. New Zealand 5 points ahead. Argentina in their alternative strip of peach against the All Black Sevens. Lovely inside ball there from Bluzzoni. Creates a bit of space, but Weber is there as the Argentinians finally get into the New Zealand half, but head high from Weber.
Yeah, definite high tackle coming in from Weber.
It's been good, hasn't it, De La Fuente, for Argentina, as has Muller. They really have stepped up on day two. The Argentinians, that's confidence after a good win against Samoa and Russia, but there's a mistake from the Argentinians from the penalty, not finding the touchline, into the hands of Thama, who then spins it out to Weber. Mikkelsen is back across to him in the pocket, now in midfield, and that's been lost forward. And then, well, was he offside when he reclaimed the ball? That could have been a penalty to Argentina.
Yeah, Scott Curry just taking his eyes off the ball. Lovely little set play though, that Weber took the ball up, put it back to Mikkelsen, then create the space for him. Here's Mikkelsen's pass to him. There's the knock-on, and picks it up well. Maybe if an Argentine player had been close to the action there may well have been a penalty, but Argentina now have a real opportunity with this scrum to go and take the lead.
And we saw it last night, didn't we, with the Australian women's team against New Zealand women, who've only lost 3 matches in the Women's World 7 Series. And there was a whole lot of belief in that Australian side, in particular the second half. And congratulations to the Australian women as well. Well deserved last night. Terrific result for the game. Brazoni feeds. Knockback, says the referee. And now the Argentinians look to try and score their second try through Mohicanos. Forbes is there, and now he claims a new man onto the field in Cortez. Still the ball with Argentina. Mohicanos reaching. He's millimeters short. Stowers is there, and he can't roll away. And so the referee says, well, we'll give a penalty here to Argentina. Brazoni taps. Brazoni the captain. Captain on, captain there with Forbes coming in. Cortez clears it. Argentina players out to the left, and there's plenty of space as well. The step, and then the acceleration coming through Palmer. Good tackling from New Zealand, but here's Chipisoni, too big and strong, and he'll score. Big man on little man, and the big man's always going to win.
Yeah, Chipisoni, such strength and such dogged determination from the Argentines. They did so well to scramble ball back here. First of all, Diego Palma, but look at this, the strength of Chipisoni. Stowers went in, tried to drive the big fellow over the line. but weight got the better of Stores.
Well, it's all tied up now. Big conversion here, and he's only got 30 seconds as well, because it used to be 40 seconds for the kick. There seems to be a player that's injured down as Tamasi Thama right in the line of Moyana.
Yeah, well, Thama made a superb tackle, didn't he? With the initial surge from the Argentines, but thankfully he's been restored. But the conversion to come, so the clock will go back on. He's probably got about 15 seconds.
Well, this for the lead. Romero Moyano, 4 tries here. The man from Tukuman. Conversion. Just pushes it wide. So we're all tied up here. 3.5 minutes left, and look at this. This is the last part of it. Cipriano, 1.93 meters, so 6'4" in the normal language, 105 Ks, and just too big for the smaller Sherwin Stowers.
Yeah, and great camera work here from our camera team.
Well, there's a big mistake from Argentina from the restart. Player in front. There is Santiago Gomez, called a second tournament in charge. A man that certainly understands, and here is that kickoff. Look at that, well and truly in front. That's good refereeing, good officiating. Well, Thama, let's see how that injury holds up now. He gets it into the hands of Webber and comes back. The feet of Webber. The missed pass out to Mikkelsen. Mikkelsen has Curtis on the outside. Ambrose Curtis, first touch for the young 21-year-old. Advantage here, not releasing Argentina, and New Zealand looking to strike back through Thama. Picks and passes. Webber with the step. Joe Webber with the fend and the try. He's all class, this young man. Joe Webber scores.
Well, Willie, when New Zealand get the ball, they put pace on the ball at every opportunity. What about Webber? This is class on the grass. Look at this. Woo! Fantastic try.
Gaston Ravali stood him up here. Have a look there. The number 10 just got an arm on him. You've got to get a shoulder or more on these players.
But Willie, it's an attacking game, and every time this man takes the ball, he does something with it. He makes it so hard for defenders to guess what he's going to do with the ball, and he's also got pace to burn.
Well, I know through YouTube with the IOB and 78, they've got that, they had the evasiveness. They've had this video on there on YouTube, and it's been watched thousands of times, and he's one of the players that they've spoken about. His ability to change angles, to sidestep off the left and right. Gillies Kaka was another one they spoke about. And these young players, and speaking of Gillies Kaka, here he comes.
Yeah, on for Tamasi Thama, and really Gordon Titchens here, he has a squad that he can just rotate, and every player that comes on has an impact upon this game.
Well, the word is, Scott, that Kenya have got a conditioning coach now, and his whole purpose is basically to teach players how to sidestep, but also to not lose pace and power.
Yeah, but Willie, this is what every single rugby player or every single kid should be doing in the back garden. Go out there and start to practice, because to practice, you get medals.
Well, that ability to actually change angles and to not slow down and to retain your pace is certainly something very, very special to the game of rugby, and in particular sevens players.
And of course, under the microscope of seven-a-side rugby, those skills are magnified. So, you know, the passing, the quality of the passing, the quality of the sidestep, the footwork, it's all part of that conditioning program.
We saw it with Surevi. We saw it with so many, William Ryder and a number of other players. And here comes Heem through the gap. He should be too big and strong, and Bryce Heem will score. Try number 4 for New Zealand. The set piece where they moved it one way and brought him back on the angle. And the man they call Avatar scores his 4th try in Dubai.
Well, it is made to look so simple at times, but when you cut the angle like that, you power the legs, and you've got the pace. Heem over for the try.
Well, just like that, it was 12 all just 2 minutes ago. Kaka successful with the conversion, and just like that, New Zealand scored 2 tries. One to that man on screen, Bryce Heem, and the other to Joe Webber. And there is Gordon Titchens.
Just another thought on New Zealand's play, Willie. The way they use the angles, the way they cut back, the way they change and manipulate the defence. They're always asking the defence, they're always posing that question.
Dixon, the man there, with the clean take, but holding on, according to the South African referee. And so Argentina, this very, very proud rugby nation, will want to finish strong here if they can. Replacements from both teams, and so that looks forward. The referee says play on as Axel Muller in the tackle of Raikkonen gets into the New Zealand half. Not supporting their own body weight, and so 2 mistakes there from Dixon since he's come on the field has meant more possession for Argentina. They'll come back for the penalty. There you go, off your feet. You heard it clearly there from the referee, and so Sam Dixon not supporting his own body weight. The Argentinians now looking to try and get more points through Alcasa. They've been isolated, and here comes the counter-ruck from the New Zealanders. Mikkelsen now losing his feet, so discipline an issue here for the New Zealanders. The Argentinians moving it through DiVincenzi. Cortez. And now they move it out. He's been very good, has Muller. And Mikkelsen just gave up the chase and said, you can go and grab a try. You deserve it as well. Axel Muller, been one of the standout players for Argentina this morning, rather.
Yeah, it was just also the screen pass that made such a difference there. It just caught Mikkelsen on the far outside, just a little bit flat-footed. Quality of the pass just goes outside the man. And Argentina, well, they'll take heart from this performance. They've played really well against this New Zealand team. Put them under pressure, tied the game at 12-all, but then New Zealand took it away from Argentina. And
New Zealand now claims its 58th victory out of 63 against Argentina. Good game of sevens we've just witnessed, because we're into the business end of the tournament with the Cup quarterfinals. New Zealand have beaten Argentina by 26-19.